Walk us through what you expect is going to happen next and the timeline for that.
Well, it's hard to predict. The judge said that, as I mentioned before, basically we were right and the governor was wrong and broke the law. He said he didn't have the jurisdiction to reinstate me. So we filed an appeal to the higher federal court on that very narrow issue. At the same time, we've gone to the Florida Supreme Court to ask them to force the governor to do what he swore to do, which is uphold the laws of Florida and the laws of the United States. It's hard to predict how long it will take. It's impossible to predict what outcomes will be in trial. But I'll tell you this, we will keep fighting because there is just too much at stake.
Yeah, a lot at stake here. Andrew, I'm curious from this experience as an elected official in Hillsborough County, especially a post like state attorney, is it something that you would have taken on again if you could have had the crystal ball to see this is what's going to happen? Would this be a path of, I would be the state attorney and run for election all over again?
Well, I certainly would have, yes, run for state attorney. I mean, I'm passionate about criminal justice. We've been doing great things in Hillsborough. And, if you're asking would I have changed what I did and what I said to avoid the governor's wrath. I mean, think about what the question is asking, right? Should I not be free to speak my mind? Should I not be free to do what I've told the people of Hillsborough County I would do as state attorney? Am I not free to do the job that I promised the people who voted for me and came out to support me, the job that I would do because I was worried about offending the king? Absolutely not. I would do exactly everything the same way as I did it before. That's what freedom's about.
So reinstatement seems like it's going to be likely as the appeal continues, either through federal district court or the Supreme Court. What's going to be next for you? You're reinstated as state attorney in Hillsborough County. What's on the future horizon for you?
I wish I had a clear answer to that. I tell you, since the day I was suspended, my sole focus has been on fighting this fight to get my job back, to make sure that the people of Hillsborough County have their elected official in office, and to make sure that our rights and freedoms still matter across the state.
Clearly, your story resonates so significantly in LGBT because we have a marginalized voice where powerful people try to hold you down, and so the story for you is an illustration of that story, but somebody that has a lot of power. The state attorney in Hillsborough has a lot of power, and that's why LGBT has followed your story so closely. I'm curious in terms of coming to an event like this, the Florida LGBT Democratic Caucus, why is, given the fight that you're in with the governor, why is an event like this important to you? Why is the LGBTQ community important to you? Why are you still, as you're fighting this, voicing up for a marginalized community? Why is that important to you?
Well, for exactly the reason, Al, that you said a moment ago, right? I mean, this is about speaking up for those who need some protection and support from a very powerful autocratic government. This is about my obligation as an elected official, as state attorney, as a Floridian, to stand up for those whose rights are being taken away, for those who are being marginalized, for those who are being attacked solely based on who they are, what they look like, who they love. That is not what our state and our country is about, and I will never remain silent so long as our rights are being taken away and people are being demonized and divided.
You heard crystal clear. Andrew, take your crystal ball, as good as your crystal ball might be, project forward. What's going to happen here?
I can't even hazard a guess in terms of what the outcome will be. It's really hard to predict those things in terms of the substantive outcome, the time of it. I can tell you this, we'll keep fighting. There's just too much at stake not to.
Yeah. And in Florida, this impending showdown for 24 for the Republican nomination. Florida has two dogs in the game.
Yes.
What do you foresee in terms of what's going to happen in terms of the continuation of this decision making that's coming out of the governor's mansion in lieu of the pursuit of running for president of the United States? Is it going to get worse?
I think it may. I mean, there's an old saying, right? When someone shows you who they are, believe them. And the governor has shown us who he is. You know, Martha's Vineyard stunt, removing me, suspending me, attacking teachers and transgender Floridians, and doing all these political stunts. We need to believe him. He showed us who he is. And I hope that the voters in the Republican primary understand who he is and whether that's what represents our best, our noblest qualities in terms of the elected leaders that we want, not just at a state level, but at a national level.
Andrew, I want to ask you a last question in terms of reaction. State Attorney of Hillsborough County. The last weekend in March, the Tampa Pride Parade will take place on 7th Avenue in Ybor City. We are going to lead Queer News Tonight on Monday's show that the governor's office, through departmental business regulation, has warned Tampa Pride that no drag queens can be in the Tampa Pride Parade. What's your reaction to that?
I mean, again, the governor likes to brag about this being the free state of Florida. What you just said certainly doesn't make it sound very free to a lot of us.
Yeah, and we're going to report in our story on Monday. We can't seem to find the law where that says in Florida law that a state attorney in Hillsborough County would enforce. There is no such law, but apparently that is the situation we are in. We'll follow this closely. We're following the story closely to you. Andrew Warren, we appreciate you taking the time to come and speak to the LGBTQ community here, and we're watching your fight closely.
Thank you so much.
We wish you luck with it. Andrew Warren, state attorney, is suspended the correct word?
Yes.
You're the suspended state attorney.
I'm the duly elected state attorney, and I'm currently suspended.
I swear in my entire life, I never dreamed that I was going to say the suspended state attorney for Hillsborough County, Andrew Warren. Thank you very much for joining us.
My
at Queer
pleasure.
News
Thank
tonight.
you.